The move allows the board to provide assistance to county residents they say have struggled financially because of the crackdown on immigrants, including rent relief to tenants directly impacted by the raids.
What?
To continue, the LA Tenants Union is calling for an eviction moratorium. They say thousands of immigrants will be unable to pay their bills come July 1st because avoiding detainment is taking priority over going to work.
This militarization of our community, this occupation of our community, this terrorizing of our communities have closed down businesses, have taken away street vendors, have separated families, and then people cannot pay their rent. They have barely the minimum to survive. We need the city to put a rent freeze. We need the city to protect tenants.
So let me get this right, lady. Y'all want to be over here legally, don't want to do it the right way. And then when shit hit the fan, now you want to talk about, oh, people can't pay their rent and all that shit, and we deserve a rent freeze. What are you talking about? When the pandemic happened and Joe let all these illegals in with no rent freeze, they didn't freeze nobody rent in the last 4 years. Everybody had to still pay it, and the people that didn't pay it got put the fuck out. So I'm trying to understand, what the fuck is she talking about? Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. Talking about some street vendors. What are you talking about, street vendors? If you ain't got no permit to sell on the street anyway, nigga, that's illegal anyway. So I'm trying to understand. We didn't get no break. We didn't get no rent freeze. We ain't never got no fucking rent freeze. I'm pretty sure other people in California, other than immigrants, would like a rent freeze, but you just wanted for y'all to have it. Now you don't get up out of here, lady.
Los Angeles County has a responsibility to protect every resident, no matter where they come from or what papers they carry.
So Spencer Pratt using his platform to call out Gavin Newsom is a heroic move. But when he made that video replying to a comment of someone saying Spencer Pratt isn't suicidal, and then he confirmed that and saying how much he loved his life and is having a great time on the beach with his friends and family, that shit kind of got to me a little bit. Because it's so crazy, the level of corruption that runs so deep in government, where people tend to speak up about situations and then all of a sudden they just go missing, and then you hear whatever happened was self-inflicted. So it is great that he caught on and used that opportunity to reply to that video saying that he was great, he was in great mental health and stuff like that. Because make no mistake, Gavin Newsom with his out of the blue fucking NGO, his fucking little non-profit that he just created literally to steal $50 million from the fundraiser for the victims of the fire in California. It's crazy because there are so many more people besides Spencer Pratt that knows what's going on, but they refuse to say anything, and a lot of people are all hush hush. For one, they just don't want to get in the way of these powerful people, and for two, they have their status to protect, so they prefer to be silent while this evil is taking place. And make no mistake, what Gavin Newsom did and is currently doing is pure evil, because not only is it his fault why so many people were affected by the fire because of the bullshit type of stuff he pulled in California, but creating a organization to steal the money that was donated to these people is fucking diabolical. And the fact that he is currently still the governor of California just says it. The message is crazy. And I got a feeling he knows he's about to be fired. That's why he's stealing. Allegedly.
Oh, well, the state of California has more fuckeries that's going to happen. All right. LA County wants to pay rent, okay, using our taxpayers' money to go pay rent for illegals who can't go to work. Mind you, they weren't supposed to fucking be in the United States to work in the first place. Now you want to go fucking help them pay their rent? Like, excuse you? What happened to the landlords who have to pay their goddamn mortgage? How about we prioritize those landlords and give those housing units to people who deserve them? Like, veterans, like the homeless people that are out there. There's more than enough.
Tonight, they're the images alarming Californians. In LA, the homeless on places like the Hollywood Walk of Fame and along the iconic Venice Boardwalk.
Any and everywhere you go, in and out of stores, homeless, homeless, homeless.
What was once largely confined to the city's notorious Skid Row can now be seen all across Los Angeles. Hundreds of homeless encampments have sprung up, including this one in the shadow of City Hall.
Oakland, California sure does have a homeless problem. Driving around town, there's homeless encampments all over the place. They're on the sides of the roads and dirt lots. There's long stretches of them on sidewalks. Some are in tents, some are in RVs, some are actual encampments with makeshift structures where hundreds of people gather into communities. It's estimated there's about 5,000 homeless individuals throughout the city of Oakland, but nobody really knows the exact answer. And the number of people on the streets in Oakland's nearly doubled in the last 2 years alone.
And so we want to prioritize these illegals who weren't supposed to be here to work in the first place, who works and send their money to their families to build their luxury home, who's going to retire in their fucking country anyways. So why are we wanting to pay their rent using our taxpayers' money? But let's listen in.
It's continue. The LA Tenants Union is calling for an eviction moratorium. They say thousands of immigrants will be unable to pay their bills come July 1st because avoiding detainment is taking priority over going to work.
This militarization of our community, this occupation of our community, this terrorizing of our communities have closed down businesses, have taken away street vendors, have separated families, and then people cannot pay their rent. They have barely the minimum to survive. We need the city to put a rent freeze. We need the city to protect tenants that are going to be suffering this 1st of July when they're going to be receiving 3-day notices because they cannot pay the rent.
A few moments later.
The County Board of Supervisors voted to issue a state of emergency over federal immigration operations. The proclamation means the county can now financially assist those they say are struggling financially due to ICE raids. Those raids have caused widespread fear among LA County's over 3 million immigrants.
Micah, share, since June, federal agents have detained or arrested thousands of Angelenos suspected of being in the U.S. unlawfully. American citizens have also been swept up. LA County supervisors say an emergency declaration is needed to better respond to those folks who have been impacted, but opponents of this move say it's just not necessary and may very well hurt landlords.
Y'all, I know analogies are not perfect, but did you notice how often they say American citizens have also been detained or swept up? Yeah, when you don't know, when you have a group of people and you don't know, you sweep them all up and then you decide later. That's almost like saying, yeah, at the DUI checkpoint, people who were not drunk were also stopped. If I knew who was drunk, I wouldn't need the checkpoint. I would just go point them out. Okay? Do you see how the news does? But anyway, y'all, that's a little rant for you. Okay, that's a little one. You live off of the rent, right? Well, the people who are in the country without permission, who shouldn't even be working because they don't have permission to work, they have to go to work, but they can't go to work. So you have to let them live for free.
A bullshit.
In your house. You'll figure it out. And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know, that helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, have you wondered what's happening in Los Angeles? Like, you know, you wake up, you're going about your day. Have you ever just stopped and say, I wonder what's happening in LA right now? Or if you are in LA, have you stopped to wonder, what the heck is happening in LA? Well, I'm going to tell you, y'all. LA, Los Angeles County, is declaring a state of emergency. Okay. For them, it is an emergency. The fact that the federal government is going into LA and surrounding areas and enforcing the immigration laws. So there's not a lot they can do. I've been saying this. We've had thumbnails like powerless to stop it because they're powerless to stop it. So in this video, we're going to take a look a little bit later. I'm going to remind you that the governor of the state of California, LA is in California, in case you didn't know, he signed an anti-mask mandate. He said, hey, you can't be in here with a mask on. Okay. Powerless to stop it. He can't enforce that. There's really nothing he can do to even enforce his own law. But first, y'all, we're going to take a look at the most recent development where they declared the state of emergency, and now they're going to make homeowners, landlords, they're going to make them eat the rent. What does that mean? That means when people don't pay their rent, there's going to be an eviction moratorium where you can't kick people out. Remember COVID? Remember during that time? My understanding is most people still did pay their rent, right? That's because the government was giving them free money. But most people did still pay their rent, but you couldn't kick people out. So now, get this, in Los Angeles County, they think it's an emergency that ICE is in the county enforcing federal law. And due to that supposed emergency, they're going to tell landlords you can't evict people.
What?
How much is rent here?
Free. 2 years.
After 2 years, we have to pay the rent.
All right, y'all, this is Savannah Hernandez in Brunswick, Maine, reporting to you from the apartments where migrants are getting their rent paid for up to 2 years. Now, I wanted to give you guys a first inside look at these units. The migrants shared with us that they come furnished. So they have a flat screen TV in there, couches, tables and chairs, a bed. We also asked them as well, hey, are you paying utilities here? They shared with us that nope, they do not have a water bill. They do not have an electricity bill.
And what about the light and the water?
Everything is good. We don't pay anything.
Okay, so they're giving people free rent basically at this point in protest. In my opinion, it's a protest. They're hurting themselves. They're hurting their own people in protest to the federal government enforcing federal immigration laws, y'all. You can't make this up. Let's get into it.
LA County Board of Supervisors voted to issue a state of emergency over federal immigration operations. The proclamation means the county can now financially assist those they say are struggling financially due to ICE raids. Those raids have caused widespread fear among LA County's over 3 million immigrants.
What's going on with the migrant crisis here in Chicago? So I will tell you right now, I'm a person that lives on the south side of Chicago, and the migrants that have come in, at one point they were coming in, we were feeling very sorry for them because they came in at a time where the weather was cold. So we're seeing all these people in tents and all this and that, but then we find out that they're getting $15,000 in food stamps, $5,000 in cash. I work for a company, which I will not say, that they're able to come in and they're able to get internet and Wi-Fi and all of this for free because guess what? The government are paying their rent for 2 years. Why is the government paying people that came from another country rent for 2 years? Can we explain that? Because it's a housing crisis right now where multiple homeless people on the streets right now that I could follow and show you homeless people that's been living on the streets. So what makes the migrants better from coming to another country that they get all of this? You know why? I'm going to say why. Because we're about to have another presidential election. So if we make these migrants democratic and we give them the right to vote and we give them all of these things, they're going to vote. And then, boom. I'm a Trump supporter, by the way.
So, yes, they're hurting their own people. They're hurting their own people to try to get back at ICE. ICE is not going to stop. They're powerless to stop ICE. So what they'll do is they'll say, okay, hey, you guy over there you're retired, right? You live off of the rent, right? Well, the people who are in the country without permission, who shouldn't even be working because they don't have permission to work, they have to go to work, but they can't go to work. So you have to let them live for free in your house. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out.
The move allows the board to provide assistance to county residents they say have struggled financially because of the crackdown on immigrants, including rent relief to tenants directly impacted by the raids.
These people are left with absolutely no choice. If you can't leave your home, you can't work. These are people that go out every single day and work so hard. I myself witnessed kidnapping by ICE at the Home Depot in Westlake. So we urge you to declare an emergency.
The emergency declaration also allows for some state money to be used for legal aid and other county services. But many landlords object, saying they could suffer financially following a ban on evictions and rental increases during the pandemic.
An emergency declaration is only needed to pass another countywide eviction moratorium. A third eviction moratorium will be the death blow to many mom and pop owners struggling from years of unpaid rent from the pandemic and the wildfires.
Yes. Also, taxpayer dollars going to fight the immigration battles of people who are in the country without permission. So let's take the limited funds we have and try to help people who are in the country without permission fight their immigration battles in court, y'all.
Supervisor Catherine Barger casting the only lone vote opposing the motion, saying that declaring a local emergency is not the right way to respond to families and communities impacted by federal immigration enforcement operations.
So what does today's action do, County Council?
It proclaims an emergency based upon the federal enforcement actions.
What is going to change tomorrow? So today's action really doesn't change anything tomorrow?
Correct. There is a declared emergency.
So this is just another, in my opinion, just another one of the ultimately insignificant, inconsequential moves that California has taken. Now, it'll be consequential to the landlords who are renting. It'll be consequential to the county budget when they're taking away from doing things for citizens and residents and helping people who don't even have permission to be in the country, much less permission to work. It'll be consequential, but it won't be consequential on ICE's actions to get those people out of the country. So, what's really going on? Just like the last inconsequential thing they did when they passed a law saying ICE agents can't wear masks, but you can't arrest them. It's federal law, supremacy clause. So there's nothing you can do.
Immigrants have rights, and we have the right to stand up and push back, and that's what we're doing here today.
Undocumented immigrant inside an SUV tried to flee from being arrested and rammed into a Border Patrol vehicle. A chase followed, with agents then crashing into the SUV to stop it. 2 people fled on foot but were eventually arrested. Residents nearby gathering at the scene, the crowd growing hostile, throwing eggs at federal agents, then rocks. Agents responding by firing tear gas. Several people were arrested. Security says Mexican cartels are now offering cash bounties targeting ICE officers and other agents. They say cartels are offering $2,000 for gathering intelligence on federal officials and their families, $5,000 to $10,000 for kidnapping or non-lethal assaults, and up to $50,000 for the assassination of high-ranking officials.
I see people on here, some of these people I know, some of these people live right around me, are saying anybody who's okay with what ICE is doing, how did you become so inhumane? How are you okay with seeing ICE kidnap families and ICE wreak havoc on the community? Let me say this to you people who's saying that. Did you not forget that the people who came over here illegally are given options, still is to this day, of $1,000 and a free plane ride back to where they live at?
When it's time to go, you can choose how. You can wait for enforcement, or you can leave on your terms. The CBP Home app lets you self-deport with dignity, directly and securely. Don't wait. Decide how it ends.
Back to their country or any country. And they have the option to come back here legally. Okay, they have been given the option to do that. Now they're saying, no, I don't want to do that. I'll take my chances with ICE. Okay. So when did we become a people who sympathize with criminals? Because see, if that was your child, my child, and our family members that did that, with your video you just saw, that tried to flee away from just the local police officers and then hit another police car and put other people in danger, you wouldn't see the media there. You wouldn't see any outrage.
You see this animal? Yeah, he murdered
Dakar Thompson, this fucking illegal. This is what I need y'all to do, because we know what the Democrats are going to do. They're going to fight for his rights. They're going to raise a bunch of money, and he's about to basically be the poster child for the injustice of the criminal system. To hell with Dakar and her rights and her life. It's about this bastard. Anyway, what I need y'all to do is be just as loud for Dakar as you were for Lake and Raleigh and others. You know, because I'm just keeping it real. Oftentimes, when stuff happens to, you know, girls that are black or otherwise, no one says anything. You know, it's just par for the course. You know, so listen, when Lake and Raleigh got murdered, I was loud. You know, because I don't think any American should have to suffer through this. But, you know, I don't know, man. Y'all beat up the comments. Lift your voices, man. Lift your voices.
You wouldn't see none of that. And you know what I see when I see that video? I see the danger that if that was my child walking down the street, my family member walking down the street, or if that was my kid, my family member in the car, and that person who was trying to flee ICE hit my family member, hit that walking down the street or in the car, and something happened to my family member, what I see is I would be pissed off. Because first of all, you're here illegally, and now you're evading the police officers and putting everybody in the community in danger by trying to flee. When have we become a community of people who sympathize with lawlessness? And this is why we had the highest murder in our communities, because we allow anything. We have just our own kids playing Grand Theft Auto with our lives, thinking that they're in the video game when they're going around just shooting anybody in our community. We don't hold nobody accountable. And then when law enforcement come in to try to arrest them, then we want to call it they are picking on black people. They are racially profiling. This is what we do. Not holding anybody accountable. But then when we call the police and they don't show up, then we say they don't care about us. They just want to see us kill each other. So they can't even win from losing. Now, we just had a raid where a Venezuelan gang took over an apartment building in our community on 75th and South Shore Drive. And they're doing it all over our community. We literally have the cartel taking over, trying to run Chicago, and definitely trying to run our communities. So we already have our gang members, our drug dealers in our community, the highest crime rate, the highest robbery, the highest carjacking, everything. And then now we have the cartel, Venezuelan gangs, illegal alien gangs coming in our communities, saturating our communities, on top of the gangs and things we have to deal with, taking over our communities, setting up shop in our communities. And now we have this happening, and we have the nerve to have a problem with ICE coming in our communities trying to clean it up. Something our elected officials refuse to do. Why y'all not mad at the elected officials that allowed this to happen? Why y'all not mad at them? Where was the outrage when Obama? Because Obama, he deported so many illegal aliens. Where was the outrage? Why didn't your Democratic city mayors and state governors, why they didn't fight Obama like this? It was quiet. Obama had kids in cages. You all didn't hear anything about it. He deported more illegals than anybody. Why we didn't see the outrage like that? Why they didn't fight him like that? Why was he allowed to come in and implement the biggest deportation ever in history? Why was he allowed to do that in peace? But somehow, because the Biden and Harris administration made history by allowing the most illegal aliens in our country at one time, made history, 22 million. And somehow now, because the Trump administration have to deport the illegal aliens that were allowed to come in, somehow It's a big fuss, and somehow the media have made it where they're demonizing him for coming in doing the job our elected officials refuse to do. And somehow they're placed all in our communities, and just somehow we manage to sympathize with criminals and lawlessness instead of holding the people who allowed this in our communities, instead of holding them accountable. Meanwhile, the very people, we have the white liberals. We was just at the meeting a couple of days ago. Edgewater, live in Edgewater. They were very upset. Came out in droves. That meeting was packed because they were trying to put affordable housing over there in Edgewater. Now, these are white liberals who are in Broadview protesting, trying to stop ICE officers, trying to stop all of these, the No Kings, implementing the No Kings protest to keep criminals in your community, to keep this chaos and this murder and things in your community. But these are the very same people who were down in a meeting because they were trying to put affordable housing in their communities. But hold on. No, they said no way. No way. Very vocal on the mic. They do not want affordable housing in their community because you know why? With affordable housing comes poverty, comes with high crime, comes with illegal aliens. All the things they want you to deal with in your community, all the things they're fighting with the Trump administration to keep in your community, ain't no way they're going to allow that in theirs. They were down there. I'd never seen that meeting so packed. Very vocal. They do not want no affordable housing in their community in Edgewater. White liberals. But yet put it in yours. This is what they want you to allow. And somehow, you all are sympathizing with the very thing that's going to wind up destroying your very community that you live in. And got you feeling like it's inhumane to want safety, that it's inhumane to want law and order, that it's inhumane to want better schoolings, that it's inhumane to not want all of these affordable housing, to want single family homes, that it's inhumane to care about what you allow in your community, that you don't want rapists, you don't want drugs, you don't want the cartel running your community where your kids have to be around and go to school and walk around the community. Somehow, they convince you that you are inhumane to want all of these things, yet they would never allow that in theirs. You can't make this up.
Did you guys hear the good news? Did you hear that LA County Board of Supervisors just approved they agreed to declare an immigration emergency? And that empowers them to give illegal immigrants free housing and free legal services. Pay for them to have lawyers so that they can fight Donald Trump and fight deportation. Now, Donald Trump has already been authorized to carry out these deportations by the Supreme Court. So this to me is looking like another money grab where a bunch of organizations will be created that do nothing. But hey, maybe Karen Bass and the rest of the greedy thieves who run Los Angeles are on the side of truth and justice this time. And they won't steal billions of taxpayer dollars to fund, quote unquote, to fund free housing for illegals. But we really know that this money is going to go to line the pockets of their friends, right? Maybe they've had a change of heart. But I need to know how you all feel about paying for people who are illegally in this country to live rent-free and paying for them to have legal representation at your expense to fight against the duly elected president of the United States of America. LA County is in an immigration emergency, and they are now able to give your money to illegal immigrants so that they can continue to break the law in this country. You're not going to get black if you're black, because there's more than just black people here. If you're black, you're not going to get reparations. It ain't coming. They can't do it for you. We don't got the money. We only got millions to give to universities so they can study and tell you your genealogy. But we have no money for cash payouts. But we have $12.4 billion to give illegal immigrants free health care. And now we have many more billions to make sure that they can live free. They give free rent. You got to pay your rent, but they get to live rent-free in Los Angeles County. I wonder all the black folks and everybody else is moving out. We're not getting free rent. We're not getting free rent. We got to live in dingy apartments, according to Tam. We got to live in dingy apartments while she celebrates and cheers on illegal immigrants who get to live rent-free. How am I goofy? I said it's our money. Come on now. We know it's going to be my money. It's going to be your money too, Divine Showdown. But this is what's going on. And if you don't believe me, you know I got clips for you. Yeah, because I didn't want to believe it either when I found out about it. I said, damn, these guys really know how to add insult to injury. But the reality is they don't give a damn about the taxpayers. In LA, the taxpayers are suckers. They're like, look, sucker, we already got your vote, so we don't have to do anything for you because we've totally scared you out of voting for anyone other than Democrats. So now comes the part where we abuse you because you're too dumb to walk away. It's like a pimp and a hoe, right? Once he break down the hoe's self-esteem enough, he don't got to beat on her no more. He like, I got you. You're going to be out in that corner. You're going to get out on that corner without me even asking you, without me even threatening you. Now I get to move on to other hoes to train them to get out on that blade.
For this, the LA County Board of Supervisors voted to issue a state of emergency over federal immigration operations. The proclamation means the county can now financially assist those they say are struggling financially due to ICE raids. Those raids have caused widespread fear among LA County's over 3 million immigrants.
So what exactly can the county do? John Fenolio.
Wait, so let me say this. So someone is illegally in America, right? And because they fear going back to their country, they love Mexico or wherever they're from. They roll around with the flags waving from their cars, and when they having a soccer game, they out here with the jerseys on. But they fear going back to that place, right? So they don't want to go to work. So since they can't go to work, they can't pay their bills, right? Right? I got a lot of reasons I don't want to go to work. But if I don't go to work, with the county of Los Angeles come in and say, hey, we'll pay your rent for you. That's crazy. So now they passed this immigration emergency. So now they can rob California landlords of their money that is owed to them by illegal immigrants and basically just say, F you, you're not getting paid because these illegals are scared to go to work because of Donald Trump.
Has answers live from Hollywood tonight, John.
Crying harder. Crying harder. Trump is your president. Crying harder. Crying harder. Trump is your president.
This is what Gavin Newsom and Rob Bonta are planning to do. They know that it is unconstitutional to seize power from the people in the Independent Redistricting Commission and give it back to the legislature to draw districts. And so their scheme is to hold a special election in November to amend California's constitution. So for the next 3 cycles, the power would be taken away from the people and put back in the hands of the politicians. Now we see the forces already mobilizing against this. Arnold Schwarzenegger has said he will campaign against this. this, a whole coalition of organizations left and right are going to defend the principle of independent redistricting if it gets to the ballot this November. But we cannot take that risk because we risk losing our democracy if they rig our districts even further. So what I'm announcing today is a legal plan to stop them even getting it on the ballot.
Gavin Newsom, if you are listening to this message, on behalf of all the people of California, please resign, because your politics, your laws and regulations are destroying the state of California. I've lived here all my life, and California was the most beautiful place all across the United States. Everybody wanted to live here. Now, taxes are high, food costs is super high, gas prices are high, housing is high. I mean, nobody could afford to live here. It almost feels like you live in a sinking ship, and any time now, this ship is gonna be below water. Guys, give me a thumbs up if you agree with me, or is it just me that's thinking this way?
On the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" !Catch!
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
Hey, let me shut down the city! We are at war!
We're in a war right now.
We are at war.
So you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
And that's why the gloves are off.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
And yes, there are many threats to democracy. We see it with these extreme candidates.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
You can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
What the American public want is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight.
You know, this is literally call to arms.
The MAGA movement is a threat.
But Michelle says that, when they go low, we go high. No.
With all due respect, if they go low, we don't go high.
When they go low, we kick them.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
And make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down, because they deserve it.
Get up in the face of some Congress people.
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your...
We have to fight this in the streets.
And we're going to fight it in the streets.
It's time to step out of your comfort zone and step out into the streets.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist! You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
He's not going to have a third term. He may not finish this term.
Yes, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news.
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith in my life.
But if you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.